In Jujutsu Kaisen, the Zenin family was one of the most prestigious families in the world, but they were also huge because they not only mistreated and neglected family members that didn't have strong curse techniques, but they weren't about trying to end the lives of family members even though some of these family members were literal children. The Zenin family is prideful, toxic, and values power above all else, but even with the family's toxic attitude toward lower family members, not many attempted to do anything about it. However, Maki was one of the few that did. Maki Zenin is extremely confident, very strong-willed, and very physically strong. However, even with her strength, because she was born with low cursed energy, she was seen as a pariah in the Zenin family. Because of this, she left her life, her loved ones, and even abandoned her precious sister in order to prove the Zenin family wrong and stay true to herself. And somehow, she achieved this goal, but at an extreme cost. Maki was extremely scarred, lost her humanity, and even lost her sister to become strong enough to prove her clan wrong and even destroy it. However, what drove Maki to even get to this point? Well, it all started with the head of the Zenin Clan, Naobito. At first look, Naobito didn't look very intimidating or even someone that belonged as the head of a prestigious clan. He was constantly drunk, aloof, and extremely lazy. However, in reality, Naobito was ruthless, powerful, even downright petty. As someone that had been raised in the head family and then became the head of the Zenin Clan himself, Naobito was immersed and trained in his clan's traditions. And he had no intention of seeing those traditions changed or even questioned.
Don't touch me.
Sorry.
When Maki left the clan and declared that she would one day be the head, Naobito actually saw this as an affront to the Zenin Clan and punished her for it. When Maki left, Naobito put his pettiness on full display and never allowed Maki to get past the lowest rank of grade 4 sorcerer. This meant that Maki not only got paid less, but was not able to participate in higher level missions, possibly stunting her growth. However, this wasn't even the extent of Naobito's adherence to his clan's traditions and ruthlessness, because when an ostracized family member Toji attempted to sell his son to Naobito, Naobito showed how far he was willing to go. Toji was one of the strongest, if not the strongest member of the Zenin Clan. However, even with this strength, Toji was treated as one of the lowest class members of his family, and this is because while Toji was physically strong, he had no curse technique. Toji had been born with a unique condition where he had literally zero cursed energy, but in exchange, he was blessed with inhuman strength and speed. No one in his family came close to him in terms of physical attributes, and he was considered so dangerous that even Naobito said, quote, if Toji had wanted to, he could have wiped out the entire Zenin Clan. However, because his strength did not align with Zenin family values, the entire family treated him like trash. Even at a young age, Toji was verbally abused, oftentimes completely ignored, and even thrown into pits full of cursed spirits, and was only able to survive because of his massive strength. However, Toji for some reason didn't retaliate against his clan, but instead just left and went off on his own, eventually fathering a child named Megumi. However, while initially Toji was involved in Megumi's life, when Megumi's mother passed away, Toji became so detached, he actually offered to sell Megumi to the Zenin Clan. Because Megumi had a very strong technique, Naobito saw the potential that Megumi had and accepted the offer. However, because of Gojo's interference, Megumi never ended up being raised by the Zenin Clan, but Naobito, even with great expense to his direct family, was not going to be deterred. During the Shibuya arc, because of Gojo's sealing, Naobito alongside Maki and various other sorcerers went to rescue Gojo. While Gojo had often been a thorn in Naobito's side, by saving Gojo, Naobito would gain more influence and recognition, which in turn would ensure the Zenin family's standing in the Jujutsu world. However, Naobito ended up getting much more than he asked for. As Naobito and his group went looking for Gojo, they ended up facing a special grade curse named Dagon. Initially, it seemed like Naobito and his group would have an easy time, and this was because of Naobito's technique, projection sorcery. The basics of projection sorcery were that Naobito could divide 1 second into 24 frames, and he was able to control his movement for each frame. This technique allowed Naobito to be extremely fast to the point where he was considered the fastest sorcerer alive, only second to Gojo. However, while the fight initially seemed extremely easy, Dagon was a special grade for a reason, and the fight ended up becoming extremely difficult, with Naobito even losing his arm. While in the end, Naobito and his group were able to defeat Dagon, they were ambushed by another special grade curse named Jogo. Jogo ended up easily wiping out the entire group, even ending Naobito's life, which resulted in messy consequences. With Naobito's passing, many in the Zenin clan assumed Naobito's son Naoya would inherit the head position.
제가 실장으로
아니 이럴
들었는데
수가.
Nepotism.
Naoya from birth had inherited Naobito's powerful technique and seemed to be groomed to take the position. However, in a surprising move, in Naobito's will, he named Megumi as his successor. Now this move was surprising to everyone because Megumi did not really associate with the Zenins, didn't particularly like them, and didn't even use the Zenin last name. However, Naobito, sticking to his family's traditions and looking at the clan's future, thought Megumi would be the better leader. Megumi was more level-headed, he had Zenin blood in him, and above all else, he had an extremely powerful and coveted curse technique. However, Naoya did not take this announcement well. Much like his father, Naoya was both elitist and arrogant. However, Naoya was much more immature than his dad and was not very strategic with his actions. Because of this, when he heard his dad's will, he started to lash out even with the Shibuya to try to hunt down Megumi, but was unsuccessful. Naoya at this point saw Megumi as a rival and outsider who did not deserve the head position. However, Naobito's will not only affected Naoya, but also the entire Zenin clan, as many members sought to take this unsure time to solidify their positions of power within the clan. And Maki ended up in the smack dab of all that. After Gojo's sealing and with Kenjaku's calling game about to start, many of the remaining Jujutsu High sorcerers, including Maki, gathered to create a plan. In Shibuya, when Maki and her group had been ambushed by Jogo, it was assumed that Maki didn't make it out alive. However, because of Maki's durability, she was able to survive the attack and assist in the preparations for the calling games. During these preparations, Maki, using Megumi's new authority as the head of the Zenin clan, went to gather cursed tools from the Zenin clan's warehouse. However, her father Ogi was having none of that. Now, Maki did not have a good relationship with her father, as Ogi considered Maki an extreme disappointment.
Disappointed!
Like Naobito, Ogi was arrogant, tied to the Zenin family's values, and extremely powerful. However, unlike Naobito, Ogi was never able to gain the position of head because his children Maki and Mai didn't have strong curse techniques. Because of this, Ogi held contempt for his daughters, but he particularly despised Maki because of her lack of a curse technique. For years, Ogi would have liked nothing better than to get rid of his daughters, and he got his chance when Megumi was named successor. Because of the power struggle and instability in the Zenin clan created by Megumi's succession, Ogi saw this as an opportunity to finally get rid of his two daughters, and he proceeded to do just that. Before Maki got to the warehouse, Ogi had already incapacitated Mai, and when Maki showed up and started to fight him, he easily disposed of her. He then proceeded to drag his two daughters into a pit full of cursed spirits and walked out, calling Maki a quote stain on his life. And at this moment, it looked like it was all over for the two sisters. However, this was not the end for Maki. When Mai and Maki had been younger, they had both been very close but had very different personalities. Mai was timid, insecure, and compliant, while Maki was brave, resilient, and defiant. Because of their differences in personalities, Maki was often Mai's protector, and Mai often relied on Maki. Maki would do her best to shield Mai from the harsh realities of the Zenin clan, even promising Mai that she would stay by her side forever. However, because of Maki's personality and sense of self, she couldn't continue to stay in the oppressive Zenin family environment. And after much thought, Maki made the hard decision to go to Jujutsu High and leave Mai behind. When this happened, Mai grew bitter toward Maki for breaking her promise to her, and from that point on, whenever Mai saw Maki, she treated her with hostility. However, this hostility was actually somewhat of a front because in reality, Mai still cared very deeply about Maki. And when Ogi ended up leaving both of them for dead, Mai decided to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
When Mai and Maki were born, they were born as twins, and while in normal circumstances this might be seen as something good, in the world of Jujutsu it was considered a bad omen. Even though twins had two separate bodies, in terms of curse techniques they were considered one individual. This meant that no matter how hard Maki trained, because of Mai, Maki would forever have a ceiling she couldn't surpass. And Mai, because of the love she had for her sister, didn't want to hold Maki back any longer and wanted Maki to survive. So to get rid of that limitation, Mai, using the last of her cursed energy, created a weapon for Maki. This action sacrificed Mai's life to sever the curse of being twins and made it so that Maki would have absolutely no cursed energy. By doing this, Maki was able to gain the same superhuman physical attributes that Toji had and was now a monster. However, at the cost of Maki's new strength, she had lost her sister and was feeling all types of emotion from grief to regret and anger. And the only people that she could release these emotions were the people that had hurt her and Mai for all their lives. And Maki intended to destroy every single one of them. Now while Maki was not as polished as Toji, her physical strength was just as strong and unbeatable. When she revived with her newfound powers, Maki instantly destroyed every curse in the room and went out to fight her father. However, it wasn't much of a fight. Even though Ogi in his own right was considered an extremely strong sorcerer, Maki ended the fight before Ogi could take a step forward, and Maki was just getting started. Maki started to tear through all the Zenin clan effortlessly, beating through the strongest warriors the Zenin clan had. And her strength was so overwhelming that clan members compared her to Toji, saying that the Zenin clan only existed because Toji had decided not to destroy them, and now Maki was the same. Maki clinically destroyed everyone until only Naoya was left, and initially it seemed like Naoya would be the biggest challenge for Maki. Naoya's technique was very good at negating and ignoring the physical powers of Maki. However, while Naoya was able to have his way for a bit, Maki was able to figure out Naoya's technique and with comedic timing smashed his face in. Maki then proceeded to even end her own mother's life and went and hunted down any Zenin clan member that had not been at the house that day. Maki had been looked at for so long as a failure by her own family, but that failure had ended up becoming powerful enough to destroy one of the most powerful Jujutsu families. Maki's a monster.
소라가 최근에 애니 추천해줬지 않아요? 아! 뭐였죠? 주스카이드!